Somebody told me start on time, finish on time. So we'll make sure that we do that. Looks like we still got a few people rolling in, and I'm really always interested too. And I know it's early, but if you guys, we're not even starting for another 15 seconds, but hey, could you just drop into the chat what state you're from? That would be awesome. So whatever state you're from, especially if you're outside of California, I'm always interested to see. We got New Mexico, of course, California. Let's see, we've got Washington, we've got Indiana, we've got, I think we should have Canada rolling in. We should have quite a few. So, I mean, it's fun. Hello, Brian. Another Washington. All right, cool. Good stuff. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, guys, it's 10 o'clock. And all of this stuff is going to be put out live, or streamed out, not live, but it's going to be streamed out on Facebook later, and also going to be able to be found on the website. But Holly, you had a couple things you wanted to lay out before we got rolling?
I do. I just wanted to welcome everybody. This is going to be a really good one. I'm super excited about it. Databases, I probably, in my personal opinion, one of the number one things that anybody should be doing for their business. I just think it creates a longevity to a business that you can't really get in any other cold lead sources. So I'm really excited about this, and we have some great guests on. So, but first and foremost, just a couple little housekeeping things. I want to invite everybody to go follow on Instagram and Facebook, The Chuck Whitehead Show. It's at The Chuck Whitehead Show on Instagram, and you can just search The Chuck Whitehead Show on Facebook and follow us there. You guys will stay up to date on everything that we've got going out, and, you know, these events and future events and all that stuff. So if you want to make a note, just to go into Instagram and Facebook and follow us there. And then as for this call, just we want to, you know, this is a chat. We want people commenting in the chats. If something resonates with you, give us a thumbs up, give us feedback. We always love that. And as always, if you are somewhere that you can turn on your cameras, we always appreciate seeing lots of faces as well. So just, you know, give us some comments, give us some faces, give us some feedback. We love that stuff. So, and then go ahead and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And with all of that said, I'm going to turn it over to Chuck, and he's going to just dive right in with our guests.
All right. Well, first off, thank you for everybody that's joining in. I'm very excited about this panel because I know all of these three agents that are going to be talking to us personally, and every one of them were handpicked because they're superstars. And the first one I want to introduce is Ruben Rodriguez. And Ruben Rodriguez is out of Coldwell Banker West. And Ruben, real quick, what areas do you serve and how long have you been in the business?
So I serve San Diego, specifically, I want to say South County, which is south of San Diego, and Chula Vista.
Awesome.
And I've been in the business for 21 years now.
Perfect. And Ruben is a superstar. I mean, he is a great agent. I've watched his career for the last 10 years. He's a superstar. Next up, we have Christina Fitzer out of Coldwell Banker Danforth in Washington. And what areas of Washington do you serve, Christina, and how long have you been in the business?
Yeah, so I serve the greater Seattle area. Specifically, I live in a small suburb about 40 minutes south of Seattle, which is called Gig Harbor. So it's in Pierce County of Seattle, but with our team, we help anywhere from North Seattle to South Seattle. So I have a couple team members that help serve our clients. But yeah, I'm in the greater Seattle area.
Love it. Okay, and last but not least, we have $1 Million John. And I saw $1 Million John Lopez on stage. He is from Coldwell Banker Legacy Group. And John, what areas do you serve and how long have you been in the business?
Hey guys, thank you, Chuck. Yes, I actually serve the Albuquerque and surrounding areas, which also includes Rio Rancho. We've got Bernalillo. We've got a couple of little places, Las Lunas, Bosque, and I've been doing this. This is my 27th year in real estate.
I love it. All right, 27th year. And by the way, I already saw, looking right now, it says, awesome. I have a referral for you right now, Christina, in Washington. My brother lives in Lake Stevens. Do you service that area?
Yes.
There we go. We're already making deals happen, right?
All right, done.
That makes me and don't forget, I mean, we've got people from Indiana. We got people all over on these calls. So definitely try to grab each other's Instagram handles so that we can share, and we've got another one from Indiana, so that we can share this information and kick those referrals back and forth. But since we have a limited amount of time, I'm actually going to jump right in with you, Christina. I did take a look at your numbers, and do you mind sharing a little bit about where your business has been at for the last 12 months, and where you're at year to date, and how much you got in escrow? Where are you at right now?
Yeah, so year to date, I am about 26 million closed and just under 9 million in escrow. And for our market, average deal size is right around $1 million for my business. And it's just been obviously all of us on the call, it's been a different year given the hike in interest rates, but I'm actually on pace to have my best year ever. And I think honestly, I attribute it to doubling down on my efforts. Like I have been gangbusters with marketing this year, and just getting a lot more deeper in the weeds on how I can reach more people in a different way.
I love it. I love it. Okay, and I'm going to just jump right in because I think this is to really understand the way somebody's business operates. I always think that you actually have to source where their listings come from and their buyers come from, because that'll tell you what their niche is. So could you tell me specifically, Christina, your last 10 transactions that you've had, like where exactly did those leads come from?
Yeah. So for me particularly, I source like I'm tracking every metric possible with my business. But for those 10, I think it's definitely a multitude of things. So I'm going to say my sphere, but then more sphere and referrals is always number one, but more so it's social media and people that know me, like me, trust me, they're following my day to day. And so I'm always top of mind. So my Instagram is Dwell Home Team, but I might have past clients or sphere and they're following every day and what I'm doing. And then when that time comes that they want to make a move, they're like, hey, Christina, we've been following you for 4 years, 10 years, whatever it is. And we see you every day online and you came to mind. So I think it's the combination of them following me online and them seeing what I'm doing every day, but then also, past clients, telling others about me because they are following me and they are watching my everyday.
Got it. Got it. And I do watch your stuff. And I want to encourage everybody out there, especially if you want to get tips from others. Her Instagram is Dwell Home Team. Is it Home Team or Home? It's Dwell Home Team, right?
Yep, Dwell Home Team.
Yeah, so follow that. Like, feel free to drop that into your Instagram right now and follow it, because if you've got people out there like Christina that are making a great run, having their best year ever, watch what they're doing. So jump onto her Instagram. Next up, John, you're obviously a great agent. I mean, I've been watching your career also since I met you in the last couple of years. You're always hustling. How is your business shaping up this year given market conditions, and where did your last 10 transactions come from?
Great question. This year we're under 30 million. We are a little bit under where we were last year at this point. So I do think market conditions has played a factor. We still have the low inventory that I think everybody has, but I still think a lot of people are a little hesitant. We are just in the beginning stages of an explosion here in New Mexico, being the 5th largest state in the nation, that we've got a lot of big companies that we haven't even started getting to critical mass growth yet. So I think the next 5 years watching New Mexico, it's going to be unbelievable. So the little bump that we got from the higher interest rates really didn't affect us overall, just this year a little bit on hesitation. My last 10, I was tracking all my last 10, as we all do, where my deals have come from. And yes, sphere of influence has been real specific. I do have a pretty personalized database that we send personalized texts to on top of just emails. But I also think my social media has been pretty dialed in. I like to balance not only the, hey, I'm a wonderful realtor kind of, things that we all kind of do, but I also like to give, value with every kind of different types of videos that I put out. But I balance that with family and who I am. I really, truly believe a lot of my clients follow me, not just because they think I'm a great realtor or I'm a professional, but I think they see my personal life. They see me with my kids. They see that I do spend time with family, working on my mind, body, and soul. So I think that's where I get a lot of requests, both online and, email and texts, because they see all of me, not just, hey, I'm the best realtor in the world kind of situation.
Okay. I want to point out that both Christina and John immediately went to social media and immediately went to the visibility of social media. And I think it's not that they're necessarily snagging the deals on the social media, it's staying visible, staying top of mind, and staying out front. I think that's the message there. So Ruben, before I do that, John Lopez, what is your Instagram handle so that people can start following yours as well?
It's a little bit harder to remember. It's just $1 Million John.
$1 Million John. All right. So, and hey, everybody, like, take the minute right now, pull your phone out and actually follow $1 Million John. He's got great material, great stuff. So thank you. And I also wanted to give a little shout out. I see Lauren Line from Long Beach is on the call. And Lauren actually took this call on vacation from Hawaii right now. So I just want to say that we appreciate you taking this serious and jumping on. And that's a testament to you three that are on the panel. So thank you very much, Lauren. Appreciate you being here. All right. So third, we got Ruben. Ruben, how have your last 12 months been shaping up? What have your last 10 transaction, what's your 10 transaction sourcing looked like? And where are you at year to date?
So year to date, I'm actually lower than I anticipated, and I'll end up under 20 million at the end of the year, probably midpoint there. And the sources have been past client, center of influence, open houses, and social media. I mean, I think, like you mentioned, social media has not been directly where I get leads from it. Actually, I did get a transaction from YouTube. Somebody saw a YouTube property tour and they called me, and that ended up into a transaction. But the main source has been for 21 years has been past client, center of influence, and really just having a system to constantly be communicating with them, knowing exactly what's going on with their lives, and just really being a service or having something. Our conversations are based off me serving them. How can I help them? Knowing exactly when how I can be value to them. So it's that consistent contact with that center of influence and past clients.
You know, it's funny, Ruben, because when we get new agents that join the business, and I know there's a few on here, some are in the business for like a year, and I'll ask them how their database is going. Oh, it's fine. And then when I ask them to print it, I find out that all they have is emails, or all they have is their cell phone number, or maybe, it's especially the ones that's just their email. Because I expect that, like, when you ask somebody about their database, you have to have all modes of communication, in my opinion, because everybody communicates differently. And we have a 30 under 30 on the call, Kayla, and she says that if somebody messages you on Instagram or you get a notification on Instagram or on Facebook, she responds to those as fast as she does a text. Yeah. Because to her, it's as important to stay at top of feed and top of mind for everybody as is returning a text. Right. So I'm going to jump over to you, Christina. So many people get into this business and they try to survive, and some even do okay without having a structured database, like exactly the people who they're hitting. Mm-hmm. How serious do you take having that database? Where do you keep it? How often do you keep in contact with those people? Talk to me about how you reach out and how important is it for you to have all modes of communication for them?
Yeah. So it's everything, honestly. So I look at my database as just that. So your database of past clients, sphere, people that you have all their contact information. So that's your physical database. And then I also look at it on the flip side as my virtual database. So it's people who might not be a client yet, but they're following my day-to-day and how I run my business and what I do. So I'm constantly nurturing both of those databases. So my past clients and my sphere who know how I operate, who have personally worked with me, but then also on the flip side, the 15,000 people who follow me, between these channels who might not personally know me yet, but I'm also investing in that relationship because it's all about making someone comfortable with you, the way you run your real estate business. So they want to call you when it's time to buy or sell, or if they know someone, looking to make a move this year. And then kind of getting in, a lot deeper, I want to be hitting, my clients, ideally once a month, to be honest, with some sort of, personal conversation or a gift. I'm a big gift giver. So, I like to drop by with home anniversary presents. We do a big Christmas event, which I'll talk about. But really trying to touch everyone in my, past client database, ideally once a month.
Okay, so you have two in your mind. You have
Yeah.
your kind of your A+ people, that past client spheres, friends, people
I
that
call
you
those
know.
my whales. Yeah. So those are my whales. So my whales, I try to keep
Whales.
around 250, and I'm constantly like looking at that list and who are your cheerleaders in this business, right? So write those down. I put it in a spreadsheet. So those whales I'm constantly loving on, in that sense.
Okay, and then you have the secondary, which is everybody else who is watching your social media through your reach and through everything else that you've done, and those people are not going to get the same love and attention and pop-bys and phone calls and texts
No.
and gifts and all that stuff, right? So, but you're still feeding out, trying to fish for them, hoping to move them into your 250,
Yep.
into your whales, right?
My
Okay.
whales.
So, John, how important is your database? How much do you follow them? Are you astute at keeping up? Like, what's your scoop with your client pool?
After 27 years, I've been blessed with quite a big, extensive database, because my database actually started before we even had social media. And so it was real important once I had this database going, and then social media had all these followings before you were able to cross-reference them. So I was able to download everybody that I had met in Facebook, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and actually put them on my database. So it's really kind of a unique situation where everybody on my database with the emails that I don't know are also on my Facebook. So they get everything, even if I've never met them before. So it's just kind of a unique situation. I don't think you can download that anymore. But I do have what I teach here with my team is my 10 advocates. And it's real important because, I'll give you an example. If somebody went up to my mom and said, "Hey, do you know a good real estate agent?" She'd be like, "Oh, mi lindo, mijito, he is so wonderful. Call my son. He is just the best ever." And that's a gimme, okay? But what I like to do is not only do I have her as an advocate, I empower her with the knowledge of today's market. So I like having conversations with my mom. And I'll even say, "Hey, did you realize that as of this morning at 6 a.m., we had 712 single family residents for sale? It's such a great market to list your house." So all of a sudden now, my mom is empowered. So when she's out drinking wine with her friends, she likes to be smart. She likes to impress them. "Hey guys, by the way, did you know there's only 712 single family residents in the market for sale in Albuquerque?" And the ladies are like, "Oh my God, I didn't even realize that. We've been thinking of selling our house. How do you know this, Patricia?" "Well, my son, que lindo, mijito, he's a great realtor." And now she's pulling information for me. So that's kind of what I like to do. I like to empower everybody around me as much as I can, even if they're not on my hot list, which we call my caliente list, or even my cold list. I just want to make sure that I can put and empower people, because I see that tracks people more, and then they give me the referral. So that's kind of a big part of my database, other than just kind of dripping on them.
I loved how you called it your 10 advocates. So you have 10 people that are really like, I mean, they're almost like your disciples out there running around, like, supporting the gospel of John, right? I mean, in a sense, almost what
I
they're
love
doing.
Absolutely.
So I love that. And informing your mom so she's out running around for you. Fabulous. Now, do you have one or two databases, John, that you follow?
Well, I do have one major database that I use through Driven, and that major one has everything filled out as much as I can, from the text to the actual emails, because we do touch on them 3 times a month in different ways. You have that hot list, that super hot list that is going to happen, and they get, these personalized emails and discounts to some of the greatest restaurants in town, called from your friends. So I really want to make sure that they know that when they're out having dinner and there's a nice free appetizer from John Lopez, I want to keep that, fresh in their mind. And then, of course, you have just the huge, 6,800 emails that you kind of send out, and kind of send them out your monthly newsletter and that kind of stuff. But that power hour is where the money's really made, where you go in there and you just call your people and you write down, you forward them. You don't talk about, again, how great of a realtor you are. You just want to find a quick little 3 to 5 minute conversation about their family, occupation, recreational dreams, just so that they know that you care. And then you make it short so they answer next month, you know, so you don't sit there and talk to them too long.
Did I just hear some ninja coming through when you just said that?
Oh, look at you,
Ninja sales?
ninja,
Yeah, yeah.
ninja
Okay.
definitions.
I love it. And I love the super hot list, and I love the hour of power, reaching out and calling your clients. That's fabulous. So, all right. So now, how about you, Ruben? Do you have a specific database that is like, you know, your hot list, your whales? And that being the case, do you have all of their info? Like, how do you handle your database?
Yeah, so it's very similar to John, where I have a specific database, and it's combined with center of influence, past clients, and investors as well. And so it's broken down. I do a program. I have it pre-programmed in my CRM, which I use Chime. And there's, I mean, a total of just touches yearly is over 60 touches, not including social media. And so let's say some of the center of influence, they're called, text, or email once a quarter. My VIPs are called every single month. And so there's a combination of the touches there, or the connections there, which is going to be, again, call, text, via email, and social media. But definitely by far the most important, or what definitely generates business and leads, it's definitely calling and meeting face to face is going to be the biggest difference. And just, again, having that conversation, building that relationship, figuring out how I can help them, whether it's specifically through real estate or anything that they need in regards to being resourceful, getting them, you know, a general contractor, somebody to do landscape, you know, trust attorney, just being there, treating them like family, being there for them, figuring out how I can help them, and what potentially is going to change in the next few years, so I can write those details in my notes and figure out what the next call is going to be like.
I love that. And when I mean, my favorite thing about what you just said is your VIPs are contacted via phone once a month.
Once a month.
I think everybody on this call should be doing that, because they forget about you. Even with email and social media, sometimes if they're not liking your stuff, or if you're not DMing them, they disappear, but they cannot hide from that phone call from Ruben.
Right.
So Ruben, how many people are on your VIP list that you reach out to once a
Really,
month?
it's top 50 VIPs.
Top 50. Okay, I love that. I love that. Okay, fabulous.
Hey,
So yes, please.
Chuck, we got a couple questions regarding, and Ruben just mentioned Chime, a question regarding what CRM platform everybody's using, whether it's Chime or Excel sheets, top producer, what is everybody
Okay,
using?
so Ruben said Chime. Christina?
Well,
I
I'm
heard her
actually,
say Excel spreadsheet.
yeah,
That's what I heard.
I'm actually in the process of switching to Chime because we were using Contactually, which got bought by Compass.
Okay. And John?
I use a company out of Arizona called Driven.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, I think there's a million great platforms. To be honest with you guys, I mean, if you're with Coldwell Banker, I mean, Moxie's free. And it's not really about the platform as much as it is about you picking up the phone and actually calling people and taking their number and actually texting people. Like, I think people get caught up in the details of what CRM to use, when really all that really matters is reaching out and getting off your butt and actually calling and texting and mailing and being consistent. But those are all great choices. And if you are a Coldwell Banker, for example, Moxie is also free. So, okay, next question. So what actual marketing tools, like, and I'm going to get specific with you. I'm going to start with you on this one, Ruben. What are the last, other than phone calls, what are the last things that you did for your clients? Was it mailers? Was it pop-bys? Like, what sort of things are you doing to keep it? And I realize that you're making the calls, but is there anything in addition to those phone calls that you're doing to keep in contact marketing-wise with your database?
So marketing wise, I send them it's called a home report. It's similar to what HomeBot. I'm not sure if people are familiar with HomeBot, but it is through Chime. And it's basically, it's a report. And that report has how much equity they have. If they sold their home, how much they would net. If they refinance, what does that look like? If they bought a investment property. So it's basically a report on their home. And of course, everybody wants to know what their home value is, or has it gone up, has it gone down? And so That to me is providing value to my client, keeping up with the client, but also it's just having a conversation with them. So I send them the report monthly. I can see when they open the report, so I follow up with a call and find out, was the report helpful? Is it something that you it brings value to you? Would you do you have anybody else that you think would that I can send that report to that they would also like? And again, it just brings conversation and for me to discover if there's anything I can do to help them. So that's once a month via Chime, and it's called the Home Report. It's similar to HomeBot. So that's one piece of marketing that I send out. I have a small farm, so I do postcards there, and I use CoreFact. And then I also use BombBomb to send a newsletter and videos every month with a market update and real estate activity and community events.
I have to say, without a doubt, like in our company here, all of our top producers are using HomeBot.
Right.
And I don't know how many of you guys, if you are not using HomeBot, reach out to your title rep. You know, I know he's using a system similar, but HomeBot is fine too. I think it's like $25 a month, but I can't believe all the business that the top producers have received off of HomeBot. So we don't have time to really get into that here, but I love that. So if you think about it, and Christine, I'm going to pick on you next, but HomeBot, CoreFact, and BombBomb are three pretty solid tools. You've been like really, really great platform, nice system with those three. I love that. Now, Christina, same question to you. What sort of marketing tools, contact tools, pop buys, mailers, what sort of things are you using to keep in contact with your database, Christina?
Yeah, so for me, I'm honestly really community focused because I live in like a tiny suburb, you know, outside of Seattle. So for me, it's, you know, thinking about what I want to be involved in, you know, to grow. So for example, like I'm hosting a like back to school brunch for mothers, like once the kids go back to school. So I'm getting like a little bit more tactful on events. And then we always do, obviously I said client pop buys. We do a big Christmas event every year we have a Santa Claus where they can get photos taken, and then we give out wreaths. So I would say like client events, client gifts, and pop buys. And really there's not like a system I'm doing. It's actually like getting on the ground and doing these things because you can't automate them. And you know, I'm also in addition I just started, I'm on like month 7 of an actual true farm. So farming, you know, a certain neighborhood in my area, which reaches about 6,000 people.
I love that. And you said something that I think is really important that I think differentiates you and a lot of realtors is she's doing a lot of things that can't be automated. So I think you guys should all be thinking about that, because a lot of people have automatic texts that go out to their clients from random numbers that they know it's not you. They have drip emails that say like, you know, hope you have a fulfilling Easter and blah, 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 blah. They know that's not you. You know, as opposed to Christina, who is out in the trenches doing non-automated things, but everything you said, the client events, the client pop buys, those are all face-to-face guerrilla marketing, in-your-face activities, letting them know and see you, which I respect that and I love that. And that's the thing that all you guys that want to be top producers, you can't just live in an automated world. You have to do those things. So good stuff, Christina.
And like one other little thing that I actually got from a great agent friend of mine is like, I obviously friend almost every person on Facebook, so I can see when their birthdays are. So anytime, like this year, I've been seeing birthdays, I'll send them a card, and then also I'll buy them, like I'll send them a Crumble gift card, you know, an gift card, and just say, hey, have a treat on me. But just, you know, it's nothing groundbreaking, but just those little acts of kindness, honestly, and for your client to know that you're thinking of them, I think it goes so much further than any of us think.
Yes, and you know, what do they say? It takes half a second to delete an email, but it takes 3 to 4 minutes to actually throw away a handwritten note, like you said, like a birthday card. You got to open it, you got to do all this stuff, and the adrenaline gets going. Somebody sent me a birthday card, because people don't do that anymore. So nice job. I love that. Okay, $1 Million John. Now, how about you? How are you keeping in contact via mailers, pop buys, emails, social media? Like, what are you doing with your peeps?
Well, you know, the automation is beautiful nowadays. Technology is great, Driven does these handwritten cards that automatically go out, and they believe it's from me. Telling you, Chuck, I hope they're not watching, because now we just gave away the secret. Because it's in messy cursive. You have a couple of different styles to go pick from, but you know, the automation, you're right. A lot of us, all top producers and newbies, are all doing the automation. We do have an automation called From Your Friends. I spoke about it earlier, and it's a company here in town, and it's exclusive to us, where they'll go to one of our nicest restaurants. They'll put together this beautiful big flyer that just gives them a free dinner, and it shows directly from me. But what I'm really spoiled with is I love our Coldwell banker here puts on events. Our community here comes to our car shows twice a year. We have these great events that we don't have to do as producers. All we have to do is market. So Mike Carter and Rosie and Dennis, all the people that run our community here and run our Coldwell banker, they make it easy. They put together flyers. You know, we all bring in our cars. I'm a big car guy, so I go to weekly Cars and Coffee, and we could have breakfast with a bunch of people, and they're always curious about real estate and what's going on. I never have to shove it down their throat. I just want to go there and eat, and then I get to tell them about our car events where we'll have snow cones for the kids, and you know, we'll have all kinds of good stuff. So we are kind of spoiled on those mega events that our actual company puts it on, and we can just piggyback off it and personalize it. So that's worked really well.
Okay. All right. So I love that, by the way. And if you notice, that's the same thing, right? Face to face, just like Christina, which is fabulous. So, okay, I'm going to go to you. I'm going to go right back to you, John, on this one. Do you? I sent you over a copy of our calendar that we follow here monthly. Do you have your year laid out? Do you do like a daily plan where you know, every morning you wake up and give yourself a to-do list? Do you have a weekly? Do you have a monthly? Do you have a quarterly? Do you have an annually? Like, how does your year look when you know what's happening? How do you schedule that out?
Absolutely. So, you know, you work on your business in the morning, you work in your business in the afternoon. So you structure each day the same every day. You got to have that structure. In the morning, I kind of combined my weekly goals of 5 hours of networking a week. And I combine that with setting my day with what people out here know me as Starbucks. I've been going to the same Starbucks for about 22 years. I sit in the same seat. I drink my coffee. We build this little community of Starbucks people that just kind of show in, and they evolve every 2 to 3 years. You'll get a whole new group. It's just weird how this has happened for 22 years. But I start up, I get there, I get my calendar set up for what's going to happen for the day. I drink my coffee. I get my hour of networking done. Then I come into the office, then I do everything that's on my office, and then the afternoon, check on houses, check on people, set up my meetings, all those kind of things. So yes, everything has to be structured. You can't just kind of wake up and hope by 11 o'clock somebody calls you to list their house, because the phone just doesn't work that way.
Okay, so you got your daily. Do you have anything out in advance for the year? Like, do you have any other layout, like in general?
Absolutely.
That you follow? And how do you do that? How do you come up with that?
So basically, you know, I mean, what we do is we have our business plan, and I keep my business plan right next to my office. Every single day I look at it. It's a living instrument. You add information to it. You don't just sit there, print it out, and then next year print out another one by changing the year and date. You literally kind of add things in, because things change little by little. So every week I have to have so many sales. Every month I have to have so many sales. But more than sales, I have to actually go out and do things that create sales. So I break it down, and I also break down personal, because I think you heard it earlier. If you're just all about business, you kind of get cornered into this type of life that then you forget what you're doing it for. So I have to balance my mind, body, and soul. And that also includes in that business plan time for the gym, you know, time for meditation, time for yourself and family, and then of course for business. I think it all ties into one. So everything's planned out per month, even to the vacations and new suits I got to buy every year. So everything's planned out for the year.
I love it. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, great. Okay, so I want to hit you now. Oh, and by the way, I love, if you guys didn't hear, he has 5 hours of networking built into his calendar every week. I love that. Do you stick to that? Like, is that like something that you follow?
Absolutely. It's so important, because you got to know your strengths. You have some great people have these great strengths on the phone. You have these great strengths who can send these beautiful letters. My strength literally is face to face. I like to have these conversations. I like to make people laugh. And I find that I really make an impact when I can do that networking. So I get involved with leadership. I'm the past president of the association. I'm running for the president of New Mexico Association of Realtors this next year. And with those events, it gives me more information so I can get more face to face with everybody, not just other realtors. So it's just that networking is really what works for me. And when you know what works for you, and I have fun doing it, you capitalize on it.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's go over to you, Ruben. Now, how do you plan out your schedule for the year? And I know, like, I was excited. I was telling Christina last night on the phone, I'm like, the cool part about being on one of these panels is it reminds you to make sure that you're sharpening yourself up and that you're actually doing all the marketing things. And you're listening to John, and like right now, like I'm sure like even Ruben's listening to some of this, and so is Christina feeling guilty about what they're saying, and then Christina's feeling guilty about what he's saying, and you know. So Ruben, what do you do now? Do you plan your day out? Do you plan your week out? Do you plan your month out? How do you schedule your prospecting activities and your time spent?
So I start from at the end of the year. I do a business plan in the whole year's plan, and I think like John said, it's kind of like a moving target. But I have the year plan. I have my systems as far as how many contacts I'm gonna. How many times I'm going to be connecting to past clients, center of influence, how many open houses, what the whole year plan. And of course, every quarter it's also reviewed, every month it's reviewed, and weekly and then daily. So the plan is I do have a specific schedule, and during the morning is actually it's first I take care of myself. Then the next part of the morning is looking for business. And the remaining balance of the day is appointments. So it have a specific schedule. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say that sounds like somebody who's been coached. So you said in the morning you're looking for business. Do you mind sharing like what you do for that looking for business part of your day?
Really, it's calling. So getting on the phone, calling, and setting my intention. My goal is setting appointments and contracts. So I figure out from the people I'm going to call is set up from the day before. And it's in my system, it's in the CRM. So I know who I'm going to be calling. I know all their information. If it's a past client, I know their home value, all the details. And so I know what the conversation, how I can be of value to them. And so that's my looking for business is my intention is, can I set an appointment? Can I meet them face to face? Or is there a contract that we can create?
I love it. I love it. Okay, so every day you have you said take care of yourself. I'm going to assume that might include the gym and breakfast and all that fun stuff. And then on to your prospecting activities, and then on with your day. Okay,
right.
Cool. I just wanted to share with you, with all you guys, this is, and people think I'm a psycho, this is my calendar. And I know it's crazy and I look like a kindergartner, but I have every single meeting, every event, every single thing, every trip, Gen Blue, North Carolina, everything I do, to me, I have to still see it, as opposed to like digitally following a calendar that's in my phone, hoping I can look for it. And I don't know, how about you, Christina? Like, how do you lay out your day, your week, your month? I mean, what does your stuff look like?
Yeah, so I'm a big time blocker. And like John was saying, I'm big on routine and, wellness. So I am like so structured to a T that I do the same thing every single day. But because of that, it puts me in the best headspace, to be honest, with this crazy business. So for me, it's, just getting really dialed in on what I'm doing each and every day and doing honestly the best I can that day for my clients. So every morning I go to the gym, I shower, I get my kids to daycare. Then I start my work day at about 8:30. And my first 2 hours, no matter what fires are going on with, transactions, I am working on marketing. So I always do it when it's early in the morning, when my brain is the freshest. And I'm just thinking about how can I be of value to people? Like, what can I put out today that people will, be interested in, find value. Like, so, it might be going and touring homes and putting it on my Instagram. Like, hey, here's the brand new $1 million home in Gig Harbor that you want to see. So it's being relevant, being top of mind, you know, and obviously like trying to find new business like we're all doing. We're fishermen. But you know, it's just having that every single day. And then I also look at a year and think about, you know, what networking events am I going to get in front of even more agents, not just, you know, clients, but agents. I'm a part of Tom Ferry, so I do 1 or 2 of those events a year. So, you know, just really looking at, you know, a big scale, but then I think it's a lot of agents get intimidated by having like a year-long marketing plan, but really it's just taking one day at a time, chipping away at it, because if you're repetitious in your activities, you're going to be, you know, you're going to be successful at it.
And I think that you and Ruben had something in common there, and I know you do too, John, is if you notice, like, it seems like you guys are up early, you're going to the gym, you're taking care of business, then you start with prospecting because you know that's the most important part of your business, or how am I going to create value, or how am I going to bring eyeballs to me? But I think that's the message that everybody out there like kind of needs to follow from these 3 is it seems to be habits. And having those healthy habits, like you said, I get up, I go to the gym, I make breakfast, I take a shower, I go, you know, and then I drop my kids at daycare, you know, and Ruben's like, I take care of myself, I do this, and John, I'm sure you're the same. But I think healthy habits and getting into that successful habit routine seems to be extremely, extremely important. So I'm going to ask you, Ruben, and then we're going to move right down the list, and this will be one of the last questions I ask you. Well, actually, we did have somebody ask this question. Christina, how many kids do you have?
I have 2 kids.
How old are they?
4 and 1, almost 2.
All right. So for all you guys that are making excuses out there, she has a 4-year-old and one that's almost 2. So how do you, just real quickly, how do you balance that situation and still, you know, take care of your clients and all that? Like, do you have a strategy of balancing everything together? I heard you say time blocking.
Yes. Yeah. And delegating, honestly, it's like, I can't do everything. So I've had to let go of, you know, things that aren't my highest and best use. So, you know, giving certain examples, it's, a house cleaner, you know, and it's something that I had to hire someone to do my laundry because I hate laundry. But it's, you know, it's just getting, you know, what is your highest and best use to be a successful agent? And for me, it's like, I just need to stick out, you know, the face-to-face, the negotiating. I'm a listing dominating agent. So, you know, for me, I'm doing mostly listings. So, you know, in that case, I can kind of delegate a little bit more. And then it's, you know, hiring admin and a transaction coordinator and, you know, those kind of hires that you need to make for your business to get to that, you know, move the teeter.
Okay, I'm gonna hit that real quick with you too, John, because I think that's important. I mean, I'll tell the truth. I have somebody that cleans my house. I have somebody that does my laundry. I have somebody that does my landscaping, and it's not because I'm some snooty a-hole. It's because, like you just said, I'm like going a million miles an hour, just like you guys. So I'm trying to figure out like what's the best use of my time. What stuff are you delegating out, John?
Well, I'm the master delegator. So that's just the way I live, you know. If I'm not good at it, I'm passing it on. And what I teach and what I learn is if I'm not making $500 an hour, I'm going to go ahead and delegate that off because I want to work in my mind, body, or soul. So am I the coach at my kid's school? Absolutely. I'm not making $500 an hour, but I'm working on my mind, my body, and my soul by doing that. Absolutely, you got a cleaning person. Absolutely, you got a person who cuts the grass and does the front, does the back. I mean, those things are important. And now that my kids are getting a little bit older, I have built-in Ubers. So that's been pretty nice because, you know, I don't have to pay them. I'm already helping with the whole insurance stuff. So I've got 6 kids and I really have them all kind of tuned in, trying to help out from the oldest to the youngest. So yeah, master delegator is kind of what I've always believed I was, and I'm going to get me a shirt that says that.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so last question, and I'm going to start with you, Ruben. So we've got today's the first day of August, September, October, November, December. We got 5 months left to make our run for the remainder of 2023 and what we want to do in our businesses, right? Where we want to go. Right now, we're 7 months down on hitting our goals. You mentioned you're a little bit behind on where you want to be this year based on last year. What type of big, I don't care what, like marketing event, mailers, what's the plan, man, to really turn it on and kick some butt for the remaining 5 months of 2023?
So specifically, or one of the biggest things is it's going to be different from a center of influence, is actually tapping into their resources. I'll give you an example of that. So finding out, sending a survey to them and asking them specifically, do you have a trust attorney that you would refer, that you highly recommend? Do you have a CPA? Do you have a financial advisor that you highly recommend? And so my goal is to hit up my top 50 VIPs, find out who their referral partners are in reference to attorneys, CPA, financial planners, and then build relationships with them. So that's something different that I need to change or add to, so I can start growing my database. So that's a new project that I'm doing. Also a client appreciation event as well, and having trust in having a estate attorney meet up with my database, or creating an event with a financial planner.
I like that. So, and a lot of what you just said, I mean, as much as I don't want to give him credit, Gary Keller's book is about, you know, making the relationships with the attorney, with the financial planners, with all of those people who can refer you more business because they're in the financial sector of the world.
Right.
I mean, that's extremely important. So your job is to get them more involved in connecting with financial services lawyers. I mean, I like that. That's great. Now, how about specifically you, Christina? What do you, and I know you mentioned that you do a holiday event and you have a few things. What do you got on the docket for the next 5 months to continue? Because you said this is your best year ever, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
All right, talk to me, Goose.
So rest of the year, I'm gonna do a back to school event for moms. So kind of like a brunch that's gonna be at a restaurant here, with mimosas, and we're cheering that our kids are back to school. So that's in September. I'm gonna start doing, so we have a lot of small, independently owned boutiques in Gig Harbor, and a lot have opened up this summer. So I'm doing one in August that's just a partnership with a brand new, women's boutique. So I'm doing it after hours. I'm inviting my whole sphere and my clients. I'm providing appetizers and food, and just so I can help support other businesses, but then also invite, my sphere. So a lot of community collaboration is what I'm trying to do. And then we have our big Christmas event, which we rent to Santa Claus and have, time block photo slots for our clients. They love it every year because they can just get straight to Santa. We give them the photos. And then we also do wreaths for Christmas. So if they can't come to the Santa event, we hand deliver a wreath, and, bring it to their doorstep. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Guerrilla marketing, out front, providing service, being involved in your community, supporting local businesses, and you support them, they support you back, right? Fabulous. John, rest of the year, 2023. I know you got a big plan, man. What are you going to do to crush it?
Well, I feel a little bad now after hearing both of them go. Gosh, I don't go out and put these big old events on at all, and I think those are great ideas. Really, my major plan for the second half of this year is to stay in town. The first half, I've been traveling all over the place, so I feel that I haven't really been as consistent with a lot of my normal processes. So I'm getting back to the basics to push through the end of the year. I do see a big opportunity in pushing out some educational videos with some changes that are going on with our market. I do have a pretty decent following in all my social medias. So I think putting out what's going on with New Mexico, some of the big companies that we have, is something that I really am tuning up this second half, putting out the videos, because at this point we have so many changes in New Mexico and we have so much that's going to be coming to New Mexico. I just want to be in front of it and educating them again. So providing value, being some of our videos is really what I'm going to be more structured on for the rest of the year, being that I've been gone so long.
All right. I love it. I love it. And I think, again, one of the things that they've talked about is being out front and being among people and being at events and networking and being the one in charge, like you said, like that, the moms with mimosas sounds like something that, I mean, people are going to love, and you're going to make some great relationships there. But I also want to just mention, for those of you out there that don't have relationships, like that you maybe moved to a community in the last year and you're just getting rolling, meeting people. And I hate to go back to the old school stuff, but don't forget that you have to start with things like open houses. You have to get out and whatever you got to do to meet people, you have to be involved in clubs and in groups. You, like John said, that he's running for associations, you know, you have to be out front and you have to be involved and do it with intent, you know, and I think that's what will help you build that group, because I know a lot of people, it's hard for them because, you know, they move, like we have a lot of people out here that are Marines. They came from Philadelphia and they're getting into the real estate business and they don't know anybody. So that being the case, you got to hit the open houses. You got to go to the networking groups. You got to be as involved as you possibly can and everything, but with intent and your name badge on. So, okay. So that being the case, I was going to hit you guys all up for one last piece of advice that you would pass on to everybody out there. We got a lot of people that have only been in the business for a year or two, and I know I'm catching you off guard. This was not something that we talked about, but I'm going to ask you, what is your number one piece of advice for anybody in the call that's in a slump, that for anybody in the call that's just getting rolling, that's maybe a little bit discouraged? Ruben, what's the one piece of advice that you would pass on to somebody that you've learned over your career if they want to get supercharged?
It's basically don't quit. And if obviously if you don't quit, you're not going to fail. So every day, just be consistent. Don't quit. Reset every day and go after it.
I love it. I love it. Okay, Christina, you got one piece of advice for everybody out there that you've learned in your career?
I think it's to not compare yourself. I think we're all running our own businesses so differently. And especially now with social media and everything watching, you know, you can see everything out there. But I think it's to not, you know, get bogged down in that negative mindset that is just going to, you know, make you feel like you're kind of in a slump. And then, you know, kind of going off of another point that Ruben just said, I think it's showing up every day. I mean, at our company at Coldwell Banker Danforth, there's agents every day who need showing help, inspection help, open house help. So putting in those efforts, even though you're not your clients, but showing your sphere that, hey, I'm having an open house right now with a client. So just showing people that you're busy, you know, putting it on your social media that you're showing these houses. I think it's just putting in the effort each and every day just so you can get that experience. And then really it's all about value. So providing value add on what is actually going on in our market. I am reading stats every day. So I'm equipped with those answers, you know, when someone's firing at me like, hey, what's going on with the market right now and inventory and interest rates. So just being, you know, equipped with that. That was a very good question or answer.
No, it's a great answer. It's a great answer. I mean, basically what I just heard you say is like everything you're doing, make it an opportunity to be visible and provide value, everything. So I mean, that's what I heard. So John, newer struggling agent out in the business, somebody that wants to get supercharged. What's your big piece of advice?
You know, there's no secret here. And I think you heard it from everybody on the panel. You literally just got to get up and do it. And sometimes people get up and think, well, what do I do all day? You know what? What you don't do is stay at home looking at your Facebook, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and wondering what's going on. Get out there, get involved, figure out what you like and go do it. You like cars? Go to Cars and Coffee. You like underwater basket weaving? Join the underwater basket weaving club down at the church. Whatever it is, get out there and don't be a salesman. Get out there and enjoy life, because people are going to be curious about you if you go out there with that energy, and they're going to ask about you as you're asking about them. And guess what's going to pop up? Real estate. And it may take some time, but you've got to do it every day. You can't just show up to Starbucks tomorrow and say, well, John's thing didn't work. I didn't get a deal. Every single day for 22 years, I've been doing it. So get up, show up, be excited with that energy. I promise you, people will come to you.
I love it. I love it. All right. So thank you guys. Before we close out, Holly, did you have anything you wanted to share before we roll out of here?
I don't think we're gonna have time to jump into the program fully, do our full thing. But we do have a downloadable piece in there that new this month that is basically just a page that kind of breaks down all of these database pieces, you know, phone number, email, social media contacts, and home address. And then it asks questions. It's kind of more of like a notes page just to get your mind thinking. it would be a really good opportunity for anybody, now that you've heard all of this really great information, to go and kind of assess your current situation. What are you doing currently? And then what are your goals for, you know, the rest of the year, or, you know, for a year out? What do you want to implement in your business? So it kind of just prompts those questions to ask and get your juices flowing on that stuff. We've got the new calendar for August up, and then, you know, our weekly videos that go through and basically just tell you exactly what to do and gives you scripts. Chuck goes through every single day by day, gives you scripts on, you know, prospecting activities that are going to make you money and get you business. But I mean, there's nothing like the personal touch, and every single person, Christina, John, and Ruben, have talked about that today. The personal touch and being out in front, we can't provide those scripts for you. We can't make you do that stuff, but getting up and doing that yourself. But we do have a calendar. If you need those items, we have the calendar, and then we have the, you know, the daily action broken down every single day for you. I do have one question from the chat from Danielle Todd. It's kind of outside your database sphere of influence question, but for anybody who wants to answer it, a house in escrow, if you're breaking into a new neighborhood, she says, I have a house in escrow. What is a good way to introduce herself to a new neighborhood? A good pop by or postcard? Just any ideas? Anybody want to grab that one?
Just listed, just sold. I mean, just listed in escrow and just sold. I know that people think those are dinosaur things, but I have to tell you, they work. Just listeds in escrows and just solds. Spend the money. Get them out there. Get them out there. So,
Just adding
all
real
right,
quick.
well,
Oh,
yes, please, please.
I always do like more results driven. So like, here's what I was able to do for my sellers, like how many showings, how many offers, and then people love to see before and after. So I'll even put before and afters in that postcard to show, like, you know, all the staging, you know, professional photos, just what it looks like.
Love it. Love it. All right. So thank you, Holly. Before we head out of here, I just want to give you a couple of summary points that I heard today. Number one, Christina, the client events, the client pop buys, the things that can't be automated, being out front, I think is absolutely huge. Supporting other people's businesses, I love. Ruben, HomeBot, CoreFact, BombBomb. If you guys out there are looking to automate some things, HomeBot, CoreFact, and BombBomb are fabulous. And John, I love the 5 hours of networking a week that you schedule into your calendar. And I love your attitude of getting out there, showing your energy and showing that personality. And I just want to say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, Coldwell Banker West, Coldwell Banker Danforth, and Coldwell Banker Legacy. Good representations, all of you guys, for those three companies. And I just want to say thank you guys for being on the call. And you can join us every single month. I did see some people asking where they can get more information. This is always, we'll post it out onto Facebook on the Chuck Whitehead Show, but you can always get it on chuckwhitehead.com, where all the downloadable stuff is, business plans, calendars, all that sort of fun stuff. And I think we're pretty much there. So I just wanted to say thank you to you three. I really appreciate you guys. I'm motivated. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go out there and do my job today, thanks to you guys. So thank you guys very much. I really appreciate you guys being here. And if we can ever return the favor, let's do so by sending San Diego referrals to Ruben, Washington referrals to Christina, and New Mexico referrals out there to John Lopez. So hit them up, guys. Hit them up on Instagram. Find them. And thank you guys very much for being here. I really appreciate you all.
Thanks, Chucky. Let's go out there and make some magic.
Have a great one, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.